Let's talk about Hitler.
That'll make sense later.
I'm immaculately conceived.
I don't know what to do.
I swear I'm not stupid.
Take it or leave it. Sometimes you just want to leave it.
If I gotta borrow my mom's underwear, I'm borrowing her underwear.
You just, yeah.
Misa likes the Jar Jar Binks.
I'm not gonna edit it out.
Oh no.
I don't know. Like, I think I'm just pretty great. Just staying on the
Sucks to
planet.
suck.
Why are you saying it with a question mark?
Clap, bitch.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Action.
And we're live. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jessica.
And this is why we're yelling. Welcome back to our last F1 race review of the 2025 season.
Crazy.
We are talking about the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. There's other stuff before that. I was not about to try and say that.
Etihad Airways Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at the Yas Marina base circuit.
Yas Marina. So the season is now over.
It's done.
We have our world champion. Congratulations to Lando Norris.
You know what?
Yeah.
It was like, it was cool.
Mhm.
That makes it sound like I don't think it's cool. It was just
the way
like,
I said that it implied something different.
implied that I wasn't excited. That's not the case. It's just, we're obviously filming this 24 hours later now.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I was all about like, is something gonna happen and is Max gonna get it? So as happy as I am for Lando, those dreams were deflated. Like immediately went like a balloon.
Yeah.
It was done.
Mhm.
But speaking of our podium, actually we weren't talking about that, but now I'm just gonna
But now we are.
But now we are. Our podium was Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, and Lando Norris.
Woo!
So Max won the race.
Yeah.
And he was only 2 points away. Did you see Kimmy walk up to him?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm sorry. And he's like, it's a joke.
Oh, have you seen the onboard footage of Kimmy when he's doing his cool down lap after the race? He asked his engineers, so who won? Or no, he said like, what was the podium? They were telling him to find a podium. And he was like, so who won? And they said Lando won the championship. And he said, by how much? And the engineer gave him like the amount of time, like 16 seconds or something. And he said, no, how many points? And he said 2.
And Kimmy's like, if I
And
could
then-
have held him off.
And Kimmy didn't say anything
Oh.
after that. But that was apparently the amount of points that when they had that moment in the last race where Kimmy had his little wobble and Lando got past him, that was a 2-point place difference.
Yeah.
And so Kimmy was like just silent. And you're like, oh my God, poor Kimmy. His little baby self. I'm just, oh.
Lando sees that. He goes, what the hell? He goes, okay,
Listen,
screw me, I guess.
Kimmy is Max's child.
Yeah, all the rookies belong to Max.
Yes.
He is Mother Duck.
Mhm.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So in the constructor standings, nothing changed. So it was McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull. I might be lying. I think that's the order. But the point is nobody moved. I do know that Lance Stroll getting that position that he ended up gaining is the reason that Aston Martin was able to maintain wherever they finished, which will probably be in the fun facts later. Yeah. In the driver standings, we had 3 people move this race. Fernando Alonso went from 12th to 10th. Esteban Ocon went from 16th to 15th. And Lance Stroll went from 17th to 16th. So our favorite rookie did finish in the top 10.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, and again, we'll talk way more about all of this when we get into it. But I do know that Alex Albon finished, I believe, 8th in the driver standings, which is the highest Williams has had a driver finish in the standings since like 2016, I think.
Lord.
Yeah, so I'm like, go Williams. They just had a really great year.
Yeah.
So I guess we talked about our podium finishers and our constructor standings, and that is the final standings.
That's the final standings
for this year. I guess we can get into our fun facts.
Some fun facts, yeah.
Yeah, my favorite part. Max Verstappen won the race, but has been deposed as world champion after 1,457 days. The victory was his 51st win as the world champion.
And now he won't be number 1 next year.
No, he will not. So for those who don't know, in Formula One, the world champion has the option to use the number 1 on their car for the next season. But after that season's up, if you don't win the driver's championship again, you have to give the number up and go back to, you can choose a different number or go back to what they call the personal driver number. So yeah, Max has raced with the number 1 for the last several seasons. And so I believe Lando has said he'll race with number 1 on his car instead of his usual number 4. And people are like asking him why. And it's basically the same answer that Max has given, where it's like, why not? Because you are only guaranteed to be able to race with that the year after you win the championship. And there's no guarantee you're ever going to win it again.
Yeah.
So it's like, why wouldn't I? Because it's rarefied air. You're one of, a handful of drivers that will ever get to have the number one on their car.
I don't know if Lewis ever did that for a season. I feel like for the most part, he was always 44, but I feel like I do remember seeing him with the number one car at one point in time. I don't know if he did it for a whole season, but I'm like, I guess when you got multiple.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you get it out of your system, if you feel like you want to go back to your regular racing number,
it's also a pretty good way to solidify your number being like associated with that and that world championship, because it's like, that's world champion. No, he's number whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I'm like, if I'm Lando, I'm number one now.
Yeah. So Max has to choose a new number, which I think we mentioned in our last episode. So he hasn't announced anything yet.
Yeah.
So he may go back to his regular 33. He may go to a different number. We'll find out before next season.
We'll find out.
We'll find out at some point. So this was Max Verstappen's 10th consecutive podium finish to end the season. He scored just 5 podium finishes in the first half of the season. So, I mean, he really talk about a bounce back, a comeback. I mean, him and Red Bull. You know what's interesting? Is we've mentioned before that we were wondering if Red Bull's turnaround, specifically with Max, he seemed to have a turnaround after Christian Horner was released from the team and they brought in Laurent Mekies. And we pondered if it was coincidence that that just the timing worked out, that the team had already kind of figured out how to fix the car and do some things to give him a better car. We had pondered if it was just coincidence that the timing worked out that way, or if it was actually like Laurent coming in and Christian leaving actually did influence the team that much. Who's to say? We don't really know. But Max definitely mentioned it in his post-race press conference about how, there's an air about the team, especially after the summer break, that it's a lot more like hopeful and like happier and kind of like a better vibe. So interesting.
What?
I know.
A better vibe. Did you see that Helmut Marko is leaving Red Bull?
I did. I saw what I thought was like a rumor. Someone mentioned it, but it wasn't.
I saw it on Sky Sports.
Okay.
Let me see if that's true.
Because what I saw was not from any like legitimate source that I would give credit to or credence to.
ESPN said Red Bull advisor Marko's future is unclear, but then Sky Sports said Helmut Marko, Red Bull advisor to leave ahead of the 2026 Formula One season after 20 years with the company. That's from Sky Sports.
The thing that I saw was that part of the reason they were trying to part ways with Helmut Marko was that he had signed a driver with the last name Dunn as part of the like Red Bull development like program. Might be, but last name for sure was Dunn, D-U-N-N-E? D-U-N-N? Anywho. But he did it like without presenting that option to anyone else at Red Bull to give them the opportunity like, to review it or say yes or no. And he just went ahead and did it. And that basically Red Bull had to pay a shit ton of money to break the contract with Dunn because he'd already signed all the paperwork, I guess. And that, again, this is part of like the speculation and rumor that I was reading through. And that basically it was costing them a shit ton of money. And because Red Bull said absolutely not, he is not part of what we're trying to do here. Like Dunn was not like part of what they were wanting to do with the teams. And so they spent a lot of money and that cost them a lot. So that was suggested as one of the reasons that they were like, okay, he's got to go.
Maybe.
Could be, could not be. I don't know how credible that information is, but just throwing it out there, just letting y'all know, be apprised of the rumors.
Yeah, but no, I saw that. And so, I mean, Sky Sports, the title of this article is Helmut Marko, Red Bull advisor to leave ahead of the 2026 Formula One season after 20 years with the company. The subheading is Helmut Marko will leave Red Bull after 20 years advising their Formula One teams. Marko has been an ally for 4-time world champion Max Verstappen, who previously said the Austrian was like a second father. So I wonder, I don't know. Interesting.
So Max was the runner-up this season, so he did finish second. and by only 2 points, which we mentioned earlier. And that is the closest margin since the current points format was adopted in 2010. When did
Lewis and them?
Lewis and Rosberg?
That was 2016. Rosberg clinched his only title by 5 points.
So this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was the 11th consecutive one to be won from pole at this particular track.
Yeah, because Lando got it last year, I think.
Yeah, so and that's a new F1 record for any venue. So 11 consecutive races at this track where it's been won from pole. Which I know sometimes when we do like our next race teaser, and we're like, can we pass at this track? Or can we overtake?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we can overtake. And it's like,
no.
Sometimes no.
Sometimes it just didn't work out like that.
Which Max, I think, mentioned for this particular track. He said that even it's never been like the greatest track for overtaking.
No.
Even he said he remembered back to like 2016 when the cars were smaller.
Mm-hmm.
He said even then it was still difficult. So
yeah,
not necessarily the cars, kind of the track.
Maybe, but I mean, I don't know how small those were. But even then, I mean, this track I think was only introduced in 2011 or something. Mm-hmm. So yeah. We'll see how next year goes. The cars are supposed to be smaller. But don't worry, we'll have a whole episode about those differences way later.
Give us like a month or two.
Exactly.
So Oscar Piastri was P2 in the race and third in the final driver standings, having led the championship longer than any other driver this season. So he led the championship for 15 races.
Yeah.
Oscar had a really good season. It was a really solid... It was his third season of Formula One.
Yeah.
He's only been doing it for 3 years. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Everyone that's, mentioned Oscar, after the end of the race, and anytime his name is brought up and they mention him, they're like, it's literally not an if you win a world championship one day, it is when you win one.
Oh, for sure.
They're like, there's nothing to be ashamed about or hang your head down about this season. You should be very proud of what you accomplished, especially for only your third year in Formula One. I mean, I think he did, phenomenal for...
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
No, I think so too. And I mean, if anything, it's kind of like, yeah, it was disappointing when he had the yips, but at least he can look at that. And then he has 3 years of data he can look at and go, okay, do I normally fall off around here? And like, what do these tracks have that like I'm struggling with? And like, work on that. I mean, it's kind of all you can do because I'm like, if that dip wouldn't have happened, we'd be having a different conversation. Mm-hmm. So
see, I'm such like a data nerd that I would immediately, like, if my performance was consistently falling off at like a certain type of track or at a certain section of the calendar each year, I would be like, what are we doing here? Let's look at that and see what, like, we need to find what the problem is and fix it.
Oh, I'm sure him and his trainer are like, we're gonna have a very active break.
Yeah. So Lando Norris finished P3 in Abu Dhabi, and that means he became the 35th driver to win the Formula One World Championship.
Lando, this is Zach Brown. Is this the World Champion hotline? Guys, what in the hell? I can't even not cuss at that. Listen, I love Zach Brown. That was so cringe. It hurt my body. I felt my entire body recoil into itself.
It wasn't...
my skin wanted to just come off my bones.
I appreciate like a good dad joke. This wasn't even that. This was much more awkward and just...
It was so just not passionate. We can talk smack about Christian Horner all day, but he knows how to announce a championship.
He knows how to bring the drama.
Oh, love that. Yeah. Missed that. Should have just called him up. Put him on speaker or something.
Is the World Championship hotline?
Oh my God. I'm sorry, Zach. That was so bad. It was so cringe. I mean,
Zach, you had so much time to prepare. You had so much time to figure out what you were going to say and how you were going to say it.
We've heard him yell before.
Yeah.
So why didn't you just yell, man? Come on.
It's very disappointing, Zach.
Can you guys just do a skit where you redo it? I think that you kind of owe us all that.
Yeah.
I don't care how you do it. Or just sit down and give a formal apology. But yeah, that was that actually took me out of the moment for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
He said what? Did he? Okay.
Yeah, I think overall the reactions felt kind of subdued.
They were it just was not like what other people have done. I mean, when he got who was family, he was obviously happy. And
I guess that's just the way Lando is. He's a little more like emotional, but in like a weepy sort of way.
Oh my God, I would have been like hugging my car, crying.
Versus like we've seen like Max or Lewis or, Sebastian Vettel, when they win, they're like, it's like excited and a little more like
that aggressive passion.
An aggressive happy. And Lando's just like, I'm just happy.
Which I'm like, good for him. It's cute.
Look, there's no right or wrong way.
No.
Express yourself how you want to. It was just a little, it felt subdued.
Yeah.
Even though I was very excited and happy for him.
I did get I got teary-eyed when he went to his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started to cry. And then his poor girlfriend, I was like, oh, they're in love. She was just crying. I was like, oh, bless. But I mean, I was happy for all that. Oh my gosh. Okay. You know something that was so sad?
What?
When GP was talking to Max. I'm sorry, I know we're talking about Lando. He was talking to Max though, and he's like, you have nothing to be like, not ashamed of, but like whatever, however, basically you've done an amazing job. You shouldn't be disappointed. And Max is like, I hope nobody's disappointed, blah, blah, blah. And the camera literally cuts to GP, who's like crying with his like head in his hands. Oh. And I'm like, GP, it's okay.
Yeah. Which apparently GP missed, I think, at least one race this season because of some sort of personal family stuff or personal thing going on.
Yeah.
And they said that it was actually planned that he would miss more than one race this season. But in the second half of the season, when Max started to, like, it looked like he had a shot at securing the championship and getting his fifth one, they said GP, like, decided to be at those races to help Max get it if they could. And so that could have contributed to him being a little more emotional, and that they missed it by 2 points. Which, bless Max. And I think I saw, or maybe someone mentioned it. I forget who it was. I saw it online. Anywho, someone mentioned how, like, they're very impressed with Max and his like maturity this season and like his perspective on just his whole shot at getting the championship this year. In that he was very much like, take it or leave it. I'm going to try my best, but if I don't, I'll be okay. And I'm
he's proud. Like, I got 4 at home.
Yeah. He's like, I'm still proud of what we accomplished. And, there's nothing to be upset about. Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, I agree. I agree that I like Max's perspective. It's a very level-headed sort of thing, but I feel like it's something you can only arrive at once you've won.
Yeah, that's a privileged place to be at.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think Max would have been in that place, and if 2021 wouldn't have happened the way that it happened, I don't think that's how his viewpoint would have been at the time. So it does come from a place of like, you already have not just one. You have 4. So, and for a fact, and I think you also get to rely on the fact that it's not my fault I'm not winning, to be honest, because the direction of the car didn't go how I said it should be going, or I couldn't help it. I tried my best. And so you also kind of have that to look back on. Like, it's not just my fault that I'm not winning. And it has nothing to do with my skill.
Well, yeah, Max said in the post-race interview or press conference, one of the questions they asked him was, or no, it wasn't post-race. It was one of the pre-race interviews. They asked Max, have you talked to your parents? So initially they were like, are all of your parents or family here this weekend? And Max was like, yeah, no, my parents are not here. My dad's rallying in Africa. My mom's at home with the dogs, and she probably prefers it that way. She can watch more on the TV anyway. So she's very content there. And someone then followed up and asked him, well, have your parents given you any sort of like words of encouragement? Have you talked to them before this weekend? And he said, we're not like that. I was like, Max. And he's like, yeah, no. He's like, I guess they just trust me to do my absolute best every time I get in the car. So he's like, our relationship just isn't like that. We talk about other stuff when I talk to them on the phone. So we don't talk about this.
Yeah, I saw where I guess somebody interviewed Joss in Africa because he was at a rally championship as well. But so it's not like he just had something he had to be at. And they were asking him about that. And he said he watched everything on the iPad. This is before the race. And he's like, Max has always been like, even with karting, he'd be karting. And if something wasn't going the way it should, I could do a hand movement. I wouldn't even have to say anything. And he would just immediately correct whatever needed to be corrected and do whatever. And he goes, and honestly, sometimes to this day, it's still like that. And I'm like, oh my. Max comes in from qualifying sometimes and his dad's like, and Max is like, shit.
But basically, Max was like, my parents trust that I'm going to do everything I possibly can when I get in that car to win, because I do every single time. So I mention all of that to say, Max, I think, has the confidence in himself, which he rightfully should, and his ability. And he knows that every single time he got in that car this season, he did the absolute best he possibly could with what he was given. And if they didn't win, it's not for his lack of trying.
Exactly. And so, I think that just comes from a privileged place in a way. And also, I mean, everybody media-wise, they were on his side this year. They were loving it, even though he did snap at that one journalist, which was kind of funny.
Yes. The turnaround in I'm interested to see what Drive to Survive is going to do with this season.
Because, I mean, it's so pro Max. Because Max is so anti-Drive to Survive. Like,
the public sentiment, specifically the media's sentiment, because I think like fans as a whole,
we love
Max. Or, we at least can respect him. And we know that like the media portrays him, and Drive to Survive can portray him to be like this sort of villain, Mad Max sort of character sometimes. But it's like the media was like rooting for him to be like, because they love, we love an underdog.
Calling Max Verstappen the underdog.
Yeah, really. We love a come from behind sort of story.
A comeback kid, a comeback story, I guess. Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see
me too,
how that plays out in Drive to Survive.
I will be too, because we'll see. Oh my God. I'm actually not looking forward to it at all, because could you imagine the Ferrari storyline?
Oh.
I honestly will.
A whole depressing episode about how.
Could you imagine let me tell y'all something right fucking now. Let me tell you this. If you fucking cover and just make this the biggest fucking sob story of Lewis at Ferrari on Drive to Survive, but you couldn't fucking make a whole episode about how he won Silverstone last year, y'all can straight up eat ass. I literally mean it. That would be fucking ridiculous. Like,
oh, they're definitely going to do a whole episode about how, 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton made all this drama and news moving to Ferrari, and then did not get a single Grand Prix podium in his first season at Ferrari, which I believe is the only season he's not gotten a podium ever.
And he, technically speaking, the only win Ferrari had was that sprint race.
Yes.
Just saying.
But no one cares about sprints.
I care about the sprint. Damn it. No, literally, like, I watch Drive to Survive because I just like to see my drivers, but it does piss me off. And I just am like, y'all are so shady. I mean, we'll see how it goes down, and maybe they'll surprise us. But you just know. Anyway, next.
I still have a couple of fun facts for Lando.
No. Sorry, Lando. We're back to you now.
We went on a whole tangent. Lando Norris joins 7 previous champions with McLaren. And those 7 are Emerson Fittipaldi in 1974, James Hunt in 1976, Niki Lauda in 1984, Alan Prost in 1985, 86, and 89, Ayrton Senna in 1988, 1990, and 91, Mika Häkkinen in 1998 and 99, and Lewis Hamilton in 2008.
It's always funny when you say Alan Prost's name.
Prost?
You always say Alan Prost. And some people might say
Alan.
Oh,
did I say Prost? I thought
it's okay.
Shit.
I mean, to be honest, I say Alan Prost. I think it's Alan Prost, but there's probably somewhere out there that someone's saying Alan Prost.
You know who I meant.
There's no other Alan that we could possibly be talking about.
Prost. Listen, we say Verstappen, and it's Verstappen.
Listen, he's Alan Prost, one of the GOATs. All right, you know who we're talking about.
Lando Norris becomes the 11th world champion from Great Britain, with the 21st championship for a British driver overall.
Freaking Brits.
Golly. That was something that they talked to Lewis about just like, and to Lando, I think they mentioned something to him too about just like the Great Britain producing a lot of like world champion caliber drivers, and how much pride you have winning a world championship and be representing like your country on the world stage kind of thing. So I'm like, okay,
I feel like it's just really integrated in their culture though. Like they have so many tracks around there, like they have so much karting there. I mean,
oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's where it was, a lot of it was like born there, so it's
and developed there. I mean,
yeah,
it's got it's a little unbalanced in that when you have more people participating in it, you're going to have a lot more success for that particular country, right? So if in the history of Formula One drivers, if there have been, 500 Formula One drivers, probably like 400 of them are from Great Britain.
It feels that way for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, all of Europe is way easier for them to participate than we have like Australians and we do have some Americans, but it's like definitely disproportionate to like at least that continent or that area over there. But yeah.
So this is the last fun fact for Lando. Lando Norris has the 4th longest career in F1 history before becoming world champion at 152 races. He's behind Jenson Button with 160, Nigel Mansell with 176, and Nico Rosberg with 206.
Wow.
Charles Leclerc's P4 result means he goes winless for the 4th time in 7 seasons at Ferrari. That's unacceptable. Ferrari.
So out of 4 seasons at Ferrari?
No, out of 7 seasons.
But I'm saying 4 of those seasons, he never got a win in. Is that what that's saying?
This is his 4th season being at Ferrari out of 7 years that he's gone without getting a win.
At least he got podiums.
So we're batting at less than 50% when it comes to a season with a win.
Think of it this way. My driver never got a podium in the Grand Prix. Your driver never got a win, but he got podiums, and at least Lewis got a sprint win.
Yeah.
Right?
Silver linings. Try and make it positive. Yeah, this Ferrari's season, as we've mentioned before, was absolute dog shit. They had the 4th best car, apparently.
They stopped developing it back in April, though.
Yeah, I know that's part of the reason. And we've talked ad nauseum about the changes that Ferrari needs to make. They need to listen to Lewis Hamilton, because why the hell are you bringing on a 7-time world champion to your team and paying him $40 million if you're not going to listen to what the fuck he has to say about changing your team so you can actually win a goddamn championship?
Come on. What you waiting on?
What are we doing? So I really hope we can get some things figured out in the next 3 months at Ferrari.
Lewis goes, I'm turning my phone. He literally said, no one can contact me at all. I'm putting it in a bin.
He's like, I'm going to throw it away.
He's like, don't even bother. When the time comes, we'll talk.
Yeah. So
he gives him the list. He's like, all these changes should be made. I expect to see this in 3 months.
Literally. So, Charles did have a decent race in Abu Dhabi. He was able to finish P4. He did a good job of trying to hunt down Lando.
The Ferraris seemed to do well in the race. Well enough in the race pace. Because, Charles had a pretty good race.
Qualifying is terrible.
Qualifying was bad. So I'm like, even Lewis ended up doing fairly decent.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what's happening?
I don't know. But yeah, so Charles was doing his darndest to try and seal the season with a podium, but he was not able to.
No.
Lando was just able to hold on to that P3.
Yeah, then it just kind of started to fall away eventually. But yeah, that was...
George Russell, driving for Mercedes, finished 5th in Abu Dhabi for the 2nd consecutive year. He has finished every race in the 2025 F1 season.
Good for him.
Yeah.
George let me down. He let everybody down. I think everybody thought, all right, he's going to get in, but he's going to fight those McLarens or get in between people. No, the Mercedes kind of just fell away. Didn't really do well. Kimi didn't qualify really well. He's not in the points. The Mercedes car just was not, out of all the races, it's cursed. It's just cursed at Abu Dhabi, apparently.
Yeah, I didn't really notice either of the Mercedes during the race, at all.
No. So. George, Alonso even got the run on him for a minute, so at the start.
Alonso, speaking of Fernando Alonso, his P6 finish for Aston Martin was his best finish at Yas Marina since 2013.
Let's go!
He was getting his elbows out.
When he's comfortable, watch out.
I was like, okay, literally, I was just complaining.
Mm-hmm.
Was it last episode?
Yeah.
I was saying Fernando Alonso, I just don't get that sort of aggressive, defensive, sort of really going for it, cutthroat sort of driver. And then he got some elbows out at the beginning of this race. And I was like, okay, I see you, Fernando.
He said, see you. I heard that and I raise you.
I heard it and I took it personally. So yeah, that was fun for me to see.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. I love Fernando. I was like, yes.
Esteban Ocon's P7 finish for Haas was his best Grand Prix finish since Monaco, which was 16 races ago.
Yeah, they had some update to the car a little while ago that Ollie seemed to do well with. Ocon did not. And everyone was like, what's happening
It
here?
took him a second to figure it out.
And so then this was just a better weekend for him.
Yeah, and this was also the Haas team's best ever result at Yas Marina with that P7. Every time I say Yas Marina, every time. It's going to be annoying, but Yas.
Yeah. Go Ocon.
We already mentioned this fun fact, but it's in my list. So Lewis Hamilton took P8 for Ferrari, so he finishes a season without a podium finish for the first time in his F1 career.
He did pretty good to like be knocked out in Q1 and then get into the points. Though. I mean, he was passing.
Yeah.
Like he was there because they were trying so hard to mostly focus on the people up front. He was so often on that box to the left and he's just overtaking this person, overtaking that person. And I'm like, God, that Ferrari just sucks in qualifying. Like, because what the hell? What the heck?
And I wonder if it's the car that sucks during qualifying or if it more has to do with the run plan or something like logistically. Because, a lot of that stuff when it comes to qualifying, like figuring out which tires to use and when, how much fuel to put in the car, what like pattern you're going to use to like warm up the tires. Because sometimes they do like a, what is it called? Like a push cool down, push cool push or push cool or whatever. They say all these different combinations of like basically, are you just doing a lap to just kind of get the tires warm and then you're really trying hard pushing to get that set the qualifying lap? Or like, I wonder if like the qualifying is more of an issue, like not specific, not just the car like setup or anything, but like logistically in the plan, because Lewis has complained about that before. When it comes to qualifying, that he's like, what are we doing? Why do we make these decisions? Because you also have to time out like when you're going to get on track, when there's all these other cars out there and how much traffic there is and when you tell them to go and like all this stuff. So
yeah,
I would be interested to know that.
Oh, I'm sure he's dying to tell us.
Oh, yeah. Lance Stroll's P10 finish for Aston Martin was his first point since the Dutch Grand Prix in August.
Wow. Well, good on him.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I understood was that basically him getting in the top 10 basically secured Aston Martin's place above Haas. It was like exciting. And then it just kind of feels like a drop off.
Like the whole race.
The whole race. Yeah. I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
the beginning was super exciting.
Yeah.
We were anticipating maybe there was going to be some strategy play with, maybe Max was going to try and back up the car. Because like, people were being a little critical of Red Bull or asking the question, was there anything else they could have done strategy-wise to try and secure the
even Oscar asked in the cool down room. He's like, you didn't want to back up the back a little? So
basically, for anyone who doesn't know, if Max had won the race, he needed for Lando to finish P4 or lower. And then the decider, because they would have been tied even for points, the decider, the tiebreaker then goes to how many first place finishes did they get throughout the season. And that then the title would have gone to Max. So basically, if Red Bull was going to make a push to actually win the Drivers' Championship, they needed to somehow manufacture a scenario or work things out to where they got Lando to finish P4. And that didn't happen. People were theorizing, oh, well, Lando or I'm like, what's the team name? Red Bull. People were like, Red Bull may have Max try and go a little slower and back up the pack. That way, like Charles, who was trying his damnedest to overtake Lando and to get that podium finish, if he had backed up the pack, that could have, given maybe Charles a better shot at overtaking Lando.
Yeah.
There was the moment where Lando was passing Yuki after a pit stop and Yuki was trying to hold him up. And then, Lando ended up going off, being forced off track. But then like kind of, they were like, oh, is it Yuki forced him off track and Yuki gets a penalty? Or was it Lando overtook off track? And so he gets a 5-second penalty. So if Lando had gotten a 5-second penalty, like that would have been great for Red Bull. But no,
I think even then he still would have finished in the top 3 at that point. And
if he had gotten a 5-second penalty, it would have behooved Red Bull to then for sure back up the pack.
Yeah.
And make sure Charles could stay within that 5-second distance. Basically help out Charles's race kind of thing.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So people were theorizing all these different things that they could try to do, and Red Bull did not. They basically they asked Max about it Oscar asked him about it in the cool down room. They asked him about it in the press conference. And basically Max said, there was a ton of scenarios that could have played out. And basically it came down to the tires that Oscar was on. He was on the hard tire, and so that affected their strategy.
Yeah.
And he said it basically just wasn't worth the risk of trying to be slower and back up the pack, because then we're risking the win, because Oscar could potentially attack and all this stuff. So they decided it wasn't the right call for them, which, I mean, they got the win. But yeah, we, again, anticipating all this crazy strategy that might, maybe happen. No, none of it happened. It was exciting at the very beginning. And then there was kind of like the first roundish of pit stops, because there were some people that did a 1-stop strategy, some people that made it a 2-stop. But that's kind of it. There wasn't really, I mean, once Lando was comfortably in third,
it was done.
He was like, he literally said the last several laps, he's like, I didn't touch a corner. He's like, I didn't touch a bump in the road. I didn't hit no debris. He's like, I was being so careful, not really pushing it to the limit. He's like, I just got to bring it home a third and I win.
Exactly. At that point, it's like, oh, fuck first place. I'm fixing to be world champion.
So yeah, the race wasn't like super exciting. And this actually was the 24th Grand Prix to be completed without any classified retirements, and the 4th this season. So I guess it's only the 24th Grand Prix in the history of Formula One.
Wow. I was thinking that. I was like, none of y'all gonna wreck.
Literally. Nobody's gonna.
I was like, isn't that what happened? I thought Lewis was just
gonna blow a tire.
Well, when he like wrecked in FP3 or FP3, what's that? Free practice 3, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, yeah, I was right. Everybody was like, oh, is he just practicing the choreography of throwing that car on the wall like Latifi? Is that his name? Who did it in 2021? Decides that he's like, you know what? Karma. No, nothing. I don't really know that I have anything else. Besides, like, that one dude who kept touching Lando's hair was weird.
Oh, yeah. It was the FIA president.
I thought it was him. I think it was.
He randomly, like, 3 different times.
Yes.
Like, stroked Lando's hair, like, ran his fingers through, or, like, did, like,
He was like a good job, buddy.
Yeah, zhuzhed it up a little. But, like, in the cool down room when he did it, it's, like, just the camera's set up behind the couch. So it's, like, you've got Oscar, Max is in the middle, and then Lando's right here, right in front of the camera. So you can kind of see, like, the side of Lando's face, and then you just see this hand reach out from the corner of the frame and like grab his hair.
He's like,
and then I'm like, what the? That was so weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was like aggressively affectionate and like that creepy.
It was like that uncle who's trying so hard to be cool, but like everyone's like talks about him when he leaves the room type of a thing.
Like overly familiar in a way that's like, we're not like that though.
Like forced intimacy.
Like, you're my boss's boss's boss.
Yeah.
You're the FIA president. And why are you touching me?
Like, don't.
Like that. It's giving like workplace harassment. You know? A little bit. That was a little weird. Last fun fact is that there are only 91 days for the teams to prepare for the season opening race of the 2026 season in Australia. Which now I guess is 90 days because this is now the day after.
Lord have mercy. Well, if we're cool, do you have anything else to add before we do our rookie report? Our final rookie report.
So yeah, I did have 2 things I wanted to mention.
Okay.
So, and both of them have to do with what the drivers talked about in the post-race press conferences. So we did mention Max getting a little sassy with a reporter in the post-race press conference. And specifically, the reason he got kind of sassy was that, and Max was in a pretty good mood all weekend.
His energy, though, he was like
immediately.
It was basically like this bitch.
So the reporter asked him a question about Barcelona, which is that the race where he like rammed into George?
Allegedly
rammed into George, the red mist, Mad Max, as it were. So the reporter basically asked him something about like, it was in the context of asking the drivers questions about, are there, I think, like any moments from the season that you kind of like regret or have learned from, or that could have cost you the win. It was that kind of vibe of the question. And so this specific reporter, who's a British reporter, I'm pretty sure, specifically mentioned like Barcelona to Max about like, do you regret what happened there, or did you learn anything from it or whatever? And then Max immediately shut down. Like his whole demeanor changed, and he was just like
He's like, I knew
that you were going to ask me that at some point someone was going to ask me that question. And he's like, why? He's like, you're just going to ask about that one moment as opposed to all the good things that we accomplished this season.
He also said, now you're looking at me with a stupid grin.
He's like, what do you want from me? Max is so, you know what is crazy? Max is so nice.
I love him.
To the journalists and to people he talks to. Like, he's like a very like charismatic sort of person.
Yeah.
Like, he's just super polite, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But you cross him. You say one thing to him that's a little bit.
That wasn't even a little bit. That was so pointed. That was so just like, what the fuck do you want me to say to that, bro?
And you do that. Max is like, you're on your bullshit. And that's one thing he doesn't put up with is bullshit. He's like, I'm not doing this thing that you want me to do.
No.
And he's like, you're looking at me with a stupid grin on your face. Like, what am I meant to do with that? Like, what?
I love that. I literally was loving it. And oh my gosh.
Stupid grin.
He said it and I said, say it louder. And he's like, I had so many other things you could have asked about. I've had so many other moments that are great during the season, but whatever, I guess.
Yeah. So I just thought I just loved that.
I loved it. It was so funny.
Because I'm like, yeah, sometimes people do ask inappropriate questions or they ask baiting questions.
Exactly.
And that's the thing about that. You give journalists a bad name when you do stuff like that. Because it is the journey. And again, we've talked before. I'm very much a supportive of our First Amendment here in America, freedom of the press. I'm very supportive, typically on the side of journalists and journalism.
Mm-hmm.
Journalists have every right to ask whatever questions they want. However, good journalists are able to keep a certain rapport with the people they're interviewing, especially if it's people that they have to interview and interact with regularly.
Literally.
Like if you're a beat writer for a publication or for an organization, you typically are covering the same teams, sports regularly. So it's like, why are you going to create a hostile work environment with the people you have to be around all the time? Like, why are you asking these baited, pointed, like you're purposefully trying to elicit a negative response because you want clicks. And that just, to me, is irresponsible reporting. It's irresponsible journalism. Like, how are you going to ask that question and think, especially, how are you going to ask that question to Max and think he's not going to call you out on it?
Well, it's that. And it's also like, so let me get this straight. You so badly want me to admit it too. Because like at that point, when you're asking me, do you regret Barcelona? What should I regret? That we touched wheels? Why do I need to regret that? Because if I regret it, then that means I did something. And I don't think Max ever said he did it. He just said stuff happens. And sometimes in the heat of the moment, things happen. But he never has explicitly said, from what I recall, I purposely hit George. So you're asking the question of, do you regret it? So you want me to basically confirm I did it on purpose is actually what you're asking me.
You're trying to, in a very sneakily, roundabout way, but you're not so sneaky.
No.
Because I
see, and I'm like, it's like you said, it's a baited question, but it's also like snaky to like try to get somebody to admit something that they've already. I don't think Max has admitted to hitting George as much as he's admitted to he was pissed.
Yeah. But yeah. So I enjoyed that moment a lot. I was like,
I did too.
I was like,
I love it. I'm like,
get him, Max.
Because I'm also like, you kind of had it coming.
He had it coming.
Yep.
The other thing I wanted to mention or talk about. So Lando, the post-race press conference, he ended up doing by himself because he had so many other media obligations and things he had to do and celebratory stuff that they went ahead and did Oscar and Max together. And then Lando came in separately and did his by himself. So they were asking him, he had like, I think almost 30 minutes of just question after question after question. So he kind of like went on little tangents and stuff. And so one of the things they talked to him about was like what he could attribute to his change in performance. So, he started off the season okay. And then he had like a series of races where he was just not doing the best that he could. And he even at that time was talking about how he like had all the elements to be able to qualify well and to do well in the race, but just couldn't put everything together right.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said that, there was a specific moment where he intentionally like he's like, what I was doing wasn't working clearly. So he brought in more people to his team to help him kind of unlock that potential and figure out how he could put everything together. And so I just thought it was interesting that the way he like specifically was talking about it and phrasing it, I was like, did you bring in like a shaman or like a tarot card reader? So who did you bring into your team to unlock your like potential and what you could do and your abilities? Like I thought it was funny just the way he was phrasing it and talking about it. He's like, I brought in more people to my team and we figured some stuff out. And I'm just like,
I wonder if it's like a sports psychologist or something.
Could be. I mean, I don't know, because he intentionally doesn't go into a lot of detail about that stuff, which is,
he goes, it's my secret weapon and you can't have it.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's talking about like more performance coaches or physical training, or I mean, he did mention like he was doing more simulator work too at that time. He like really buckled down. But when he mentioned bringing people in to the team, I was like, did you bring in somebody for like the woo woo? Like, hey, you never know. It can't hurt, right?
I guess not. He won if that's what happened. I'm like, my head. I'm thinking maybe he brought in like sometimes you just need a new eye. And maybe it was just a team, like you said, performance coaches that looked at the data, looked at everything, and they're like, you need like, maybe made him a better simulator plan, or maybe made him like what you really like. Maybe it's not necessarily. What am I trying to say? Maybe there are certain corners you don't do well at, like low speed corners. Maybe you don't do well at this, and so maybe just ironing out, like instead of practicing one whole track over and over again, maybe they're practicing one section of a track, so that way you can get down the things you're struggling. I don't know, or maybe it was honestly just a witch.
Could have been. I mean, it could be something like the way he was preparing for a weekend, or even like once he arrives at the track, it's like, okay, take me step by step. What's your routine? Maybe we need to adjust something in your routine. Maybe you're getting too stressed and too tight, so you're not able to relax in the car right before qualifying. Maybe you're eating some sort of food that's like affecting your performance. Could be. Who knows?
Maybe you need to fast before you race because you got to be lighter.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who's to say?
But yeah, that was interesting.
That is interesting. I did see where he gave one of the interviews he gave. He was like, I know I've said things about Max, but I'm mad, and I'm pretty sure I've said things about Lewis. And he goes in cool down rooms, and I know we all know exactly what he was talking about, because that was the moment last year I went, I'm sorry, who are you talking to? I'm sorry.
Lewis was also like,
Lewis said, I'm literally giving you a compliment.
What are you talking about?
He goes, I'm literally giving you a compliment.
It's like, cool, chill out, bro. Like,
Lewis is like, okay. And he goes, and then Lando's like, and it's one of those things where adrenaline's high, and the second I say it, I go, shit, wish I wouldn't have said that. Really wish I wouldn't have said that. And I'm like, well, it's funny that it got brought up.
And you know that it's something he thinks about all the time. Because, it's like one of those moments that you have in life where you're like so embarrassed that you did something or said something. You're like, why didn't I do it differently or say it? It like bothers him. So he's like, this is the moment. I'm going to bring it up.
I gotta say it.
I'm sorry. I gotta let it out.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
I
apologize.
I'm sorry. Just don't bring it up anymore.
I'm sorry, Lewis. I didn't mean it. You're great.
Lewis is like, somebody having the best car. Well, when I had the best car, I won 7. I'm kidding. No. Anyway, no. Lewis congratulated him too, so that was nice. I mean, I think they all did. Oh, it was really cute when Carlos congratulated him. That was sweet because they're buddies.
What's funny is we've talked about before how it feels like this generation of Formula One drivers are a lot more friendly with each other. Like they're still competitive, but they're able to separate what happens on the track and compartmentalize that from like their real life interactions and day-to-day sort of interactions. So like they're able to like each other and be friendly and be friends and be like coworkers basically and still be competitive on the track and not let it affect things. But I think it's interesting how like, we've made that observation about this generation of drivers, and you see that the evidence of that when they're all like so super happy. Like almost every driver said something about congratulations, Lando. It's very well deserved. And he did such a good job and kudos to you. Like all very congratulatory and seemingly like very happy for him. And George is envisioning a Mercedes driver. But
that's how I like to remember him too.
But George even mentioned like, a couple of years ago, if this had happened, he may have had, because him and Lando were direct competitors in like Formula 2, Formula 3, like lower level racing. And that, they kind of came up in the sport together, competing against each other, were rivals. And he said, a couple years ago, if this had happened, there would have been a level of resentment within me that why was it him that got it first and I didn't get it first and, get a world championship before he did. He's like, but, with age and experience, that I'm only happy for him. He's like very well deserving. He's like, I know my time will come. And I'm not I'm not having any sort of that like bitter or like sort of thought or resentful like energy or thoughts. And I'm like, that's great. Would not have been the case, a couple of even one generation of drivers ago.
Literally, Lewis and Nico Rosberg just shoulder check each other by each other. It feels like, or at least Lewis does. I feel like Nico's like, "Hey, man," and Lewis is like, "I still hate you now." No, he doesn't. But anyway, part of me is like, I kind of wish. I mean, okay, first of all, who was gonna be the asshole that went not deserved at all? Not congratulations at all. Whatever the opposite of that is. So it's like, but yeah, I do feel like they're all more friends or whatever. But there's a part of me that's like, I wish they weren't.
If it had been a contentious win, a la 2021.
I feel like that was super contentious because of how it happened. Even though definitely Max and Lewis were like, they had multiple incidents that season.
That was the case if it could have gone to either one of them.
Yeah.
But I feel like all the drivers on the grid have very strong opinions about who should have won that race in that season.
I think most of them agree.
Yes. But not like saying it's Max's fault because it isn't. No. But like they have very strong opinions about like the wrong person won that season. Because of the way things folded out. I feel, but very contentious sort of thing. Whereas they're like, no, Lando clearly just had the better season.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, yeah. Yes. I was like, better what? Oh yeah. See, yeah, I was like, what? What did you say? Taking the ringing off. No, I agree. Well, I guess with that, we can get into our last rookie report, which we probably won't even have this segment next year because I think we're just going to have one rookie.
Yeah, and we can just talk about him like normal.
Yeah, we'll just do like a little rookie update or something on him maybe. We'll see. We've got 3 months to figure it out.
We can do a sophomore year report for all the second-year drivers.
We literally just might, to be honest.
Who knows?
We might. And maybe just certain ones. Maybe not everybody.
We may revamp the whole format. Who knows?
Who's to say?
Got to come back and check it out in 3 months.
Yep. But with that being said, let's get into our last rookie report of the 2025 Formula One season. Kimi Antonelli, he qualified 14th. He finished 15th, so 0 points. Antonelli started on the hard tire and spent most of his race trapped in a DRS train, never really being able to make the alternate strategy work. He struggled with the balance of the car and didn't have the pace to fight back into the points, eventually finishing P15 as Mercedes focused on locking in P2 in the constructors and shifting their attention towards the 2026 season. Now, just a little thing for Kimi. His total points for the year, 150, and he finished 7th in the Drivers' Championship.
That's really good for a rookie.
Mm-hmm. I did that for everybody. So I was like, I think I should. And then I thought about maybe I'll go through 1, 2, 3. I feel like we'll be able to know who.
Yes.
Kimi was the number 1 rookie technically in points. Isaac Hadjar. He qualified 9th. He finished 17th. Ooh, so no points.
What happened, my dude?
Well, he started inside the top 10 and ran into the points early, but once he pitted and rejoined in traffic, the car just didn't have the pace for him, and in order to move forward, he slid down the order over the stint and finished P17, frustrated with the lack of speed, but still able to take some pride in helping VCarb wrap up P6 in the constructors in his first F1 season. So the car just was not great. Yeah. It was not a great car. I mean, the car, granted, I'm not saying the car over the course of the season wasn't great, but it just didn't seem to do overtly well at this track. Total points for the year, 51, and he finished 12th in the driver's standings.
Okay.
Franco Colapinto. He qualified 20th. I will tell you this. He's very consistent. He finished 20th, so no points. Colapinto had a long, tough evening from the back of the grid with Alpine lacking pace all weekend. A 2-stop strategy could not pull him out of the back of the field, and he came home P20, still pointless for 2025, leaving him and the team determined to reset and come back stronger next year. Total points for the year, 0. finished in the standings 20th. 2020. You know,
It's not his fault. Like, maybe?
Yeah. No, I don't think it's. I think he's in a shitty Alpine, and because I'm sure if I'm Alpine, I'm not developing this car anymore.
No.
I'm gonna put him in this Formula One car. If I'm Flavio Briatore, I was like, is it an L? Flavio Briatore. If I'm him, I see this young kid who has a lot of fans and backing from, I believe it's Argentina, and I see skill because he did well in a Williams, and I snatched him up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put him in this season. And so he can get used to a Formula One car across almost practically a whole season. And then all our money in development is going into next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this season for Franco was basically one long free practice session.
That's what
I don't know that the team had any expectations for him to even score a point. I mean, if he did, great. If he would have, that would have been great.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they can obviously place a little more expectation on Pierre because he is the senior driver. He's been doing it for a minute. And he just has more skill, has more experience around all these tracks. He's driven on all of them multiple times, whereas Franco has not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, like you said, it's a good learning experience for Franco, but just 2025 was just 24 different free practice weekends.
Yeah. Well, when did he join? Race?
Oh, not 24.
Not 24
That's
total,
true.
but
like after the second race, I don't know.
Whatever. Basically 24.
Yeah.
It feels like 20. We'll see.
But yeah, so that was probably a good strategy for them. Just get him experience in the car, and then we'll try in 2026.
That's just and that's just me speculating, but that would make the most sense to me because they've re-signed him, and I'm like,
and you wouldn't re-sign a pointless driver if you didn't have like a certain level of confidence in what he could do next season.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens next year with Franco Colapinto. I'm hoping great things. I would love to see all the rookies just like battle each other.
Step it up.
Yes.
I'm like, we got our rookie season out of the way. I want to see you
new regulations, you're now helping that car develop. Some of it's like you might be developed around
season
you.
No more. I need you to
let's go.
Step up.
Yep.
I want cutthroat battles. I need to see like Kimi and Isaac going at it on the track. I need to see Liam Lawson.
Oh, you're going to see that.
Fucking some people up on the track.
Liam already got some ops. All right. So now Ollie Behrman, he qualified 11th. He finished 12th, so no points. Behrman was hovering around the edge of the point and initially looked on for a top 10 finish after an early pit stop and a solid defensive drive, but a 5-second penalty for more than one change of direction while fighting Stroll dropped him down the order, leaving him P12 at the flag and ending his rookie season just shy of a points finish. So, total points for the year, 41. Finished in the standings. He was 13th.
Okay.
13th in the driver's standings. Not bad. Gabriele Bortoleto. He qualified 7th. When I was putting this together, I said, what?
Yeah, I remember after qualifying, because I was really only paying attention to the top 3. Yeah. So it was like after qualifying and I saw it might have been like the pre-race show. It's something where they mentioned, they're like, oh yeah, we've got some like Alonso starting P5. We've got the Bortoleto P7. And I was like, what?
To be honest, I'm pretty sure I saw the Sauber and just assumed it was Hulkenberg. Because I was pretty checked out after qualifying after I witnessed Lewis. And I was angry. And then all I paid attention to was the top 3, basically.
Yeah.
And so
I was just like, oh, we've got a whole wrench thrown into our qualifying top 10. So they're like, something fun could happen. It didn't, but
spoiler. So he qualified 7th and he finished 11th. So 0 points. Bortoleto started in the top 10 and even ran close to Alonso in the first stint, but after his stop, he got swallowed up in the midfield. Struggling with bouncing and unable to fully maximize the race, he slipped out of the points to P11, disappointed to miss out, but still able to look back on a strong rookie campaign overall. So total points for the year, 19, and he finished 19th in the driver's standings.
Thanks it wasn't last.
Yeah, that's a fact. Liam Lawson, he qualified 13th. He finished 18th, so no points. Womp womp.
That's my line.
You were not saying it.
Womp womp.
Thank you. So, Liam Lawson spent most of his race on the fringes never really able to find the pace to move forward, and things got even tougher when he picked up a 5-second penalty for erratic driving. He finished P18 outside the points, but he and Isaac's work across the season was still enough for Racing Bulls to hang on to P6 in the constructors. They were handing out penalties this race, and they were really into the track limits. Even in, I noticed in F2 qualifying, they weren't playing. Like, I mean, time after time after time was deleted. And I'm like, good Lord.
They were, I remember hearing them on the broadcast for the race that they were like, this person got a track limits warning. This person got a warning.
It was
This
like all
person
three
got
of
a
them at
warning.
one time. It
Yeah.
was like Kimmy, Lewis, this person. And I was like, and then Lewis got pissed because he goes, I didn't even know about the first one. What? Thanks a lot.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought it was common sense that you should stay on the track. But
no, they mean a strike.
Oh.
Yeah, he meant like the actual, like, because you have to get X amount of strikes to be given the black flag.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, because he's like, oh yeah, you have like basically, here's your formal warning, like you were going to like track limits warning, black flag. And Lewis is like, where were the other ones?
Why didn't you tell me I needed to be more careful?
Last but not least, our favorite rookie, Fernando Alonso. He qualified 6th. He finished 6th. So 8 points. Woohoo!
Yay!
Alonso launched brilliantly, going right past George Russell at the start and even putting pressure on Charles Leclerc before settling into the upper midfield. He pitted with the front runners, managed his race well, and kept the pack behind to secure P6 at the flag. He helped Aston Martin get 7th in the Drivers' Championship, and he ended up finishing 10th. So we'll look forward to see what kind of rocket ship Adrian Newey can put him into next year.
Yeah, and we've mentioned before, but Alonso has said that potentially 2026 could be his last year, depending on how the car is and where the team's at. So it could be his retirement year.
Nobody wants to hear this negative news on the
just-
closer.
I'm just saying.
Well, thanks. So the total points for the year is 56, and he finished 10th in the driver's standings. So, hallelujah. We can move on to our best and worst driver of the day. I'm going
Lando Norris. Okay, I struggled. I had actually 3 options.
Oh, all 3?
My 3
No.
options were Lando Norris, because obviously he got the driver's championship.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen. I'm trying to say Verstappen.
Don't.
Not Verstappen.
It's weird. We're American.
Max Verstappen. For winning the race and, got pole, had a perfect weekend basically. And he also shut down that one reporter in the press conference. And I was like, you get him, Max.
Yep.
And then my other option was Charles Leclerc, because he was really trying his hardest in that Ferrari and to get P4. So those were my options. I think I'm going to just go with Lando.
My options were Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and oddly the other Ferrari driver. Just because he got up there. He was overtaken like a king, like the king he is. But I'm going to go with Lando. I agree with you. I think he did what he needed to do, especially after his pit stop, and he had to overtake those cars, and he did.
Yeah, he was moving through the field.
And I literally don't care. Here's what's stupid, right? Everyone's like, he should have got a penalty because he went off track. He did not gain it was on a straight. Quit acting like he went off track and gained an advantage, bro. He went off on a straight. Chill out.
Because he was forced off the track. That's why the
Essentially.
termination was made, because they say Yuki forced him off the track, because it's not like they were going into a corner or anything like that. So there was no way for you're not establishing who's ahead at the apex of a corner to determine who, did whatever. No, it was literally on a straight. So they were like, no, Yuki just forced him off the track. So he had to take avoiding action. That's what happened.
Move on.
Yeah.
Biggest letdown.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe Bortoletto.
Well, he didn't let me.
Isaac.
Nope.
Maybe Isaac.
Nobody really let me down. George Russell. That's a lie. George Russell let me down. If I have to pick somebody, because I really expected him to be up in there more. I expected him to be chomping at the bit. Like whether it was going to be him or Charles Leclerc. Like I expected somebody to be chomping and
No chomp chomp.
putting, the McLaren. I just expected I expected somebody from the back to be giving the top 3 a harder time to make that championship battle a little more like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But nothing happened. And so I kind of put a lot of my eggs in the basket of George Russell for that. And that did not happen. So
It wasn't really a factor at all.
No.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Isaac. Because qualified P9 and then finished P17. That's a very dramatic drop.
Yeah, it was.
So
Not
if
great.
if I got to pick somebody,
Mhm.
I'll go with him.
Yeah. So we have no next race teaser. However, I have some information for you. Testing will begin on February 11th through the 13th, and also the next weekend, February 18th through the 20th. And then I don't know how to say this place, so I'm not going to say it. Soccer. It's literally S-A-H-S-A-K. Oh,
Sakir?
Sakir.
Sakir?
Sakir. Sakir. Sakir.
Literally, you're saying suck here.
Sakir.
Suck here.
Suck here. Come test your cars and suck here. Lando, is this the world champion hotline? Anyway, I'm sorry, because it was a horrible joke.
Oh.
Dad joke. Dad joke. Dad joke.
The correlation was not hitting for me. I was like, what is she
because it's corny and dumb and I said it. Duh. So that being said, that's when testing is. And then the first race will be March 6th through the 8th, or that'll be the first weekend. And it will be in Australia. And that's when we'll have our next race review. So we will not have any more race reviews for 90 days.
Yeah.
But we have other F1 content planned. So
yeah. And other non-F1 content planned.
Yes.
If you missed the epilogue of our last episode,
whew,
we'll do it again.
Yes.
So basically the whole point of us doing an F1 focused podcast this last year was because we had gotten to a point in our podcasting and our content where we really only wanted to talk about Formula One because that was just what we were interested in and what we were consuming a lot of information about and content about. And so that's what we wanted to naturally talk about. So we're like, let's just give it a go. We committed. We covered every single race this year and also did F1 Academy.
Yes, that review of their season will go up Thursday.
I'm very proud that we did that. But the plan has always been to do the Formula One stuff and also still continue doing regular episodes, which if you only joined us for Formula One stuff, you may not know. We also do other stuff and talk about other things, anything from pop culture to movies to TV shows to philosophical questions about life and the universe and all this stuff. Like we talk about everything. And we think we have funny and interesting takes on it sometimes. So if you enjoy some of our ramblings about Formula One content when we go a little off script.
Ooh, honey, that ain't even scratching the surface.
Not even.
You don't even know how much I got to edit out of these. Because I'm like, nope, this is race stuff. Oh, man, it's rough.
So, yeah, the plan has always been to do Formula One episodes alongside just regular podcast episodes about other types of other content and other topics. And that is still our goal. We're trying to figure out how to manage that workload. So now that we've gotten the full season of Formula One coverage under our belt, we're going to figure out a way to do both next year because, God damn it, if Joe Rogan,
I was like, here it comes,
can talk to anybody about anything that he wants to, that he finds interesting, but still have specific episodes dedicated to like MMA.
Yeah, or he has like dedicated episodes to like stand-up comedians, things like that.
Yeah,
so
like it's like a series within his overall podcasting.
Yeah.
Like if he can do it, why can't we? I don't want to have to develop a whole separate channel.
No.
To keep the two things. No, that's too much. No, if you
we'll have playlists, but that's all you're getting.
Yeah, if you don't want to hear the Formula One stuff, just don't listen to those episodes or don't watch them.
I mean, just turn them on and walk away.
Yeah.
Come on.
If you don't want to consume the other types of content we'll be putting out,
turn it on, turn the volume down, and walk away.
Exactly. Just let it play in the background so
Yeah.
we get that view.
Yeah. Come on.
But yeah, I mean, if Joe Rogan can do it, why can't we?
Yeah. Because we're so similar to Joe Rogan.
We're people with a podcast.
We're people
basically the same.
with a mic. All right. No, I think that we have a better idea of what we have to do in order to do the race reviews. We have a better idea of more of a realistic timeline and kind of even pushing what we thought was realistic to begin with. You know, I mean, there were times we would film like a Sunday and go, okay, you can come out the next Saturday. And now we're not even they can't be like that for F1 reviews. So I think it kind of revamped how we think we can even put out our content and the timeline we can put it out. And yeah, I mean, I'm proud of us. I mean, it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun and I enjoyed doing it. And it was cool to prove to ourselves that we could do it. And yeah. So with that being said, this will be the last F1 race review of the year, but you will still have plenty of content to come and we will talk at you next time. Bye. And you should definitely like, comment, and subscribe because it definitely helps with the algorithm. Thank you. Bye.
That was a jump scare.